Welcome to Solitude Adventures!
My name's Alexa and this is Connor. This is our puppy Hudson. He's 8 months. And then the other dog that already ran away is Harley. She is 3 years old. Connor and I met while we were going to college in Idaho. And while we were in Idaho, we got married our last year of college.
As a lot of husbands know, when you get married, the list just starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I had a lot of honeydews. So I decided to invest in just some basic tools just to knock them out. And I actually really started to fall in love with it. So I fell in love with it. I actually started making just a little bit of money on the side, which actually kind of helped us through college. But mostly it was just, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with working with my hands, creating something out of nothing essentially was awesome to me.
So our first year of marriage we spent in Idaho while he was finishing up school. And
Yes, I graduated later than she did. And I'm 28 and she's 24.
Mm-hmm.
25?
How old are you? 25.
25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I was saying, we fell in love with the outdoors. We loved everything about Idaho. It was almost the mecca of beautifulness as we had glacier around us, the Tetons, Yellowstone. There was
Jackson,
just so
Turkey,
many pretty things to do.
Island Park.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Idaho.
And we lived it up.
And so we actually had to, after I graduated, we moved back to Texas where I'm originally from. And there's a lot of public land down there, so there's not as much exploring as we can do in Texas. And so I decided to start my own small business, woodworking. And so I started doing that part-time. Actually started doing pretty well in Texas. Not super great, but pretty well. But I fell in love with it. I like every chance I could do. Alexa would have to come in at like 11 o'clock at night and be like, hey, it's time for bed. You have work in the morning. And I'm just in the shop just working. So I fell in love with it down there. And I think my skills got better as well, which was actually really, really cool to see.
From Rexburg to Texas, very much improved skills. So yes.
Yes.
So at the beginning of COVID, we actually went to go visit some of our friends in Arizona, and their neighbors were building out a van. And he had all of the wood paneling done and showing us like he was going to live in it for a little bit. And we just thought that was the coolest idea. And that was the very first time we heard of people building out vans and living in them.
And so to me, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like our happy place. We both love the outdoors. I love like building things and like handyman work. She loves designing. I was just like, this is like our mecca here. So we honestly never stopped thinking about it after that. Our brain started churning. Then we went to Montana for a trip in Glacier, which is absolutely stunning if you haven't been to Glacier. So we went to Glacier, we stayed at this Airbnb, and next to us, there was a guy who was renting out a van. And so he actually lived in the van for a year first with his kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was like super impressive. And so he started renting it out on Outdoorsy, and that's where my business mind started going crazy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this would be so sick if we could do this. So we decided like, hey, let's look into this. And my weird obsessive self just have been researching honestly for like what, a year now?
A
year
while.
and a half.
Yeah.
My obsessive self just couldn't stop thinking about this. And we're like, we have to do something like this because it is so sick.
So something to know about us is we are both full-time teachers. Connor is a physics teacher in a high school, and I am a science teacher in middle school. And as anybody who's planned trips before on a budget, you know very well that airfare or travel fare and hotels and rental cars and activities, they add up in price. And especially if you're trying to do it on a budget, it's just money flying out the walls. We were just thinking, oh my gosh, if we built out a van, we would be able to save so much money and travel a lot more.
So we decided like, hey, let's knock all these out in one shot. So no more airfare, no more hotel, no more car rental. Let's just start a van rental business. And so we decided to officially start Solitude Adventures LLC, where we'll be renting, potentially selling, but honestly just living it up in the van life. And so we're gonna take our vans out as much as we can.
We're so excited to take you on this journey and help y'all find your own personal solitude.